People, we're back in Portsmouth, and this week we've got Mark Kellett.
I'm an artist, teacher, a dad, a husband. That's me really.
Why spray paint?
People might think it's just sort of spraying a can, but it's just you can create something really quickly and lots of different styles.
You touched on the reached like a dark point.
Yeah, there was something I just wasn't happy and had like a lot of creativity built up in me that I needed to kind of get out. It's like episodes of Mania and being a bit bipolar. You think things are happening that are not. You're putting two and two together and getting 20. Once I was home, I was still thinking I was being followed at home and I was being watched. And even like being communicated like through radio and TV. I was thinking that they were communicating with me. It's mad.
Why do you think men find it hard to talk? Why is there a stigma around it?
It's not the first thing that I guess comes to mind. Like when you say, "Oh, how you doing?" Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah. And then they go, "What should we do? Have a beer, go watch football," whatever it is. The stuff I've done historically before my recent exhibitions all been about just things that look cool, but it's all getting a bit more personal now. I want to sort of tell my story about mental health issues and maybe just trigger that conversation.
Mark, how you doing, mate?
Good, is that it?
Well, no, thank you for being a guest on the show.
Oh, you're more than welcome, mate. Yeah, it's coming up.
No, I'm looking forward to this one, I really am. And so cool. What's going on, show? The show where we shine the light on people doing things in communities and doing something a bit different. I like that. I do like that, and I'm excited for this episode. So, cool little tradition I've got is, instead of giving you an introduction, I'd like to throw it over to you. So, who is Mark Kellett?
I'm an artist, teacher, a dad, a husband. Yeah, that's me really.
Oh, nice. I like that. And I guess take me back then. So you're an artist, and so where did you grow up then? Where's home from?
I grew up in Portsmouth, in Lamport, till I was about 14, and then moved up to Fareham, moved schools and everything. Yeah, but I have a real like connection still with Portsmouth and just love being there, and I even sort of cycle round it on the way to college if I can, if I have time, and just to like realign my compass sort of thing, you know, I just love it. I love the people and the scene, and yeah, it's just cool place to be, and football is probably one of the main draws for me. Yeah.
Okay, vibes. And so Portsmouth, how was growing up then? How was school? How was family life?
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it was a bit hectic. I used to kind of, one of my main memories is not that nice actually, sort of walking through the park and there's like a block of flats and my mum used to get spat on and stuff like that. So it was a bit eerie, and I remember being like bullied a little bit, which is really dodgy, but there are happy stuff as well. Like I used to tell my mum and dad I was cycling around the block and then cycled to Fratton Park, and I was like, that's like 3 miles away from where I used to live. But yeah, no, it was a cool place to kind of grow up, and it was a shame really. I was a bit upset when I moved to Fareham, lost a lot of friends, and sort of family was still in Portsmouth, so yeah, but kind of moved on and yeah, made a new group of friends and stuff. But yeah, it's cool.
Oh no, fair enough. And just on that then, how is it for you leaving groups of friends and finding new ones? How was it?
It was hard moving up to Fareham, but to be honest, I met a real nice bunch of guys that I played football with, and I played football with them on Sunday for like a Sunday pub team quite a few years, and they become really good friends with me. We went on holiday to Cavos, and things like that. So yeah, it's become quite easy for me to kind of make friends, hopefully. But yeah, it was hard at the beginning, moving schools and everything and trying to fit in with a new bunch of kids or whatever, and trying to fit in. But yeah, it's all good.
So how did you like school then? Was school like a good subject, a good place for you?
Yeah, I mean, I knew I always enjoyed art, and then I met a teacher at Fareham School actually, and she just said, "You've really got something," and really pushed me and gave me the confidence to think, yeah, actually I can start playing around a bit here and actually get a good grade for it. And then didn't have a clue what I wanted to do really until I moved up to Fareham, and then I just knew I enjoyed art. Went and did a BTEC at Fareham College and then degree in art, and then I became a builder. So it's kind of like, yeah, but then I've gone back to teaching. But yeah, art's always been a massive passion of mine. Massive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So cool. So you went out to become a builder. So what brought you back then to teaching?
After doing like a 4-year degree in painting, kind of when I was building, someone said to me, "You'll be doing this for the rest of your life," and I kind of wanted to prove that guy wrong. I remember him as a plasterer, and like one day he just said, "If you don't do something with your degree now, you'll be doing this building work for the rest of your life." Not that there's anything wrong with that. Sometimes it's hard graft out the cold, and I thought, sorry, yeah, I'll do a teaching degree, qualification, and then, yeah, start to work my way up into actually running an A-level now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's cool. And being around the students and then being creative, it's just, I love it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, really, really enjoy it.
Well, no, fair enough. So, okay, cool. So that was school. You said you like football. Has that always been your hobby in art? Have they always been your hobbies?
Yeah, and they've kind of come together at one point doing the work for Fratton Park and like working with people doing the awards dinners and things. And there's a painting of mine in Fratton Park, one of the lounges, and I just love doing that. And when the club was going through some really crap times, I produced some work for them, tried to make a bit of money for them, and do work for free for a season ticket, even though the seasons were rubbish, and we would just ride down in the lower leagues. But yeah, it's definitely, I still love watching it now. I wish I could play, but sort of getting old, got a dodgy knee. But yeah, I still love going down there, and would love to do something again one day for the club and keep representing them as much as I can.
Yeah. Interesting. So that's a question. So how is life as an artist? Like, for those who are like, I want to go down to become an artist, is it risky, or what's it like for you?
It's hard work. You've got to have like a core passion of wanting to do it. Coming out here in the cold and painting at night, and I've had studios in loft spaces and garages, really dingy, and I've just got one lamp shining on me, and so yeah, you need to be determined and have a real like core passion about what it is what you're doing. But for me, it's kind of an essential way of life. If I didn't paint, I think I'd be really depressed, and it has happened in the past where I've had stages where I've not been enjoying what I'm doing, and it's gone down, like just gone spiraled downhill of not being right. And I had a busy period now, but I'm itching to start the new thing, and I just feel like I can't go without being creative in some way or another, like throughout the week.
Fair enough. So you're creative every day, would you say?
With an outlet of doing it with the students, yes, as much as possible, and my boys as well. Hopefully, they when they were younger, doing something new here with them, or building some rubbish outside and making stuff out of wood. But yeah, definitely. Or it might not just be painting. It might be like creating a video or an album cover, or working with other creatives as well. Really love. Yeah.
Okay. So cool. I mean, you touched on it really briefly, that reached up a dark point. Is that with your art?
It was mainly when my life was very, very different. I'd been married before, and I was a builder. I was like not being creative in any way. And then there was something, I just wasn't happy, and had like a lot of creativity built up in me that I needed to kind of get out. And that all kind of came out at once on the honeymoon on my first marriage. And then, yeah, it triggered another sort of memory of where I think things are happening, and I think I've had like a chemical imbalance in my brain. I don't know what it is, but I think it's triggered through not having sleep and things like that. So it's like episodes of Mania, and being a bit bipolar, and So I'm like thinking like things are happening sometimes, like through these periods, and they haven't happened for a long time. But there was 2 spells in my life where I've gone like, yeah, downhill. See what? Yeah.
So you touched there, mania.
Mm.
What in your definition is mania?
It's you think things are happening that are not. Like you're putting 2 and 2 together and getting 20. And you think I was thinking I was being followed. We were basically on with a lads' holiday in Cavos. This was the first time it sort of happened, and yeah, our rooms were ransacked. I think the local didn't really like us, so we kind of upset someone, and I was just really, really scared. I hadn't really been out. I didn't look after myself very well. I just drank Red Bull and vodkas and was just out of it, and didn't really eat properly. So the Red Bull just kept me up, and then I was just, yeah, it wasn't right. My friends had to bring me home early, which was really nice of them. They just cut their holiday short and brought me home because it just wasn't well. But yeah, and then it kind of happened again 10 years later on the honeymoon, but not as severe because it took a while. Once I was home, I was still thinking I was being followed at home and I was being watched, and even like being communicated like through radio and TV. I was thinking that they were communicating with me. It's mad. But yeah, luckily I think now I'm in a much better place, and yeah, hopefully touch wood doesn't happen again. But
Fair
yeah.
enough. I mean, so don't mind me asking, how did you get to that point?
What to have those sort of episodes?
Yeah, what
or,
do you think, or no?
I know the second time was because I had a lot of bottled up creativity in me when I was a builder, and I knew that I was acting out character. So my ex thought, what the hell is he doing? We're out on this honeymoon together and he's just being creative. I filled a whole sketchbook of random crap. Like, I was just had an explosion of creativity, which is kind of what this painting is about above you. But the first time was more, it just wasn't thinking. I was scared. It was just scared of, like, I needed to get home and protect my family. And I think my dad left when I was like 14. I was slightly looking after my mum a little bit, still living at home, and I was going to uni. So yeah, it's pretty scary times, really. Yeah,
Fair enough. And okay, cool. So you had these spells at that time. So before you was a builder and you had your first honeymoon and that creative spell, was you in the art space before?
Yeah, I was at Winchester School of Art, being creative in the studio a lot. But then I guess once I was being a builder for a few years and doing that, I'd only had like a little bit of an outlet, doing stuff in the back room now and again, and yeah, not as much as now. But yeah, building a space was quite important when I moved into this house, somewhere I could be creative, and I wasn't a teacher obviously and didn't have that out there. Yeah.
No, fair enough. So you say having an outlet is important. So after that second spell, when did you sort of really embrace the art scene?
It was probably, I had a really massive spell before I had kids, a lot more time. I started being really creative with doing the Portsmouth Football Club players and trying to represent the club. And when they were almost being folded, I was, this can't happen, like there's so much history with the club. It was really upsetting and touching to me. It's like, no, this can't happen. But I guess when COVID sort of happened, I was in here so much every night painting, and then just felt something clicked from that really, and since then I've not looked back. It's kind of practicing and being inspired by other people, the internet, and I guess the techniques that I'm using have really kicked on into what I'm doing now. Kind of,
So what techniques did you start from, and how has it progressed today? And do you think you'll carry on with this style?
I used to paint really traditionally with oil paints, and I used to stink of white spirit in here, and paint a lot of portraits, and I still love doing that now. And I've kind of recently used spray paint to paint a face, and hopefully my skills will come through that a little bit. But I don't know. I get bored really easily with what I'm creating. It's kind of like to do abstract stuff, maybe go back to mix up with some traditional styles, and yeah, I don't know. Just get inspired by my students sometimes, get ideas from different visuals, like the manhole cover story I was sort of telling you about. Yeah.
Why do you think you get bored?
Bored really easy with the techniques. I don't know, I'm always looking for something new to create. Like, for the moment I'm using like glow in the dark material that you can shine a light on, and then it leaves a mark. And I let the kids have a play at that in a recent exhibition, and I just really like that because it's only temporary, and yeah, it's kind of get the wow factor. And when you light up some of the neon stuff, the UV light, it looks really cool, really different, and to kind of give the viewer a different experience to something they might not normally get, I guess, and make it interactive as well. I'd love to do more stuff where you can film a painting and then it comes alive a bit more through like an app and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, I've seen that a couple of times. That's interesting. So cool. The experience of the viewer. I'm really interested in this. So the experience of the viewer is quite important, I guess, in all aspects of art,
Yeah.
kind of do it for, but
Yeah.
how important, so what if you do a good piece of art and it gets received well by the community, but what if you do a bad piece of art? How does that make you feel?
Hopefully I don't ever produce a bad piece of art. I mean, yeah, it's really, when you're doing something on the street, like I had a guy came up to me, he was really worried about what was going on this wall that was outside his house, and so much so he complained and we got moved in a different location. But so it's hard to kind of, the first time that I did something for the recent Look Up festival, it was really personal. The rest of the stuff I've done historically before my recent exhibitions all been about just things that look cool visually and playing around, but it's all getting a bit more personal now. I want to sort of tell my story about mental health issues and maybe just trigger that conversation if whoever's looking at it. And then it's been really nice, actually. People have been saying that they're quite touched with the exhibition and showing some common ground, really, because I still think there's a massive stigma of men that just don't talk. I've had friends come up to me and say, like, I didn't realise all of that happened to you. I thought you were just a bit depressed, So it's kind of working, and I'd just love to do more in that, down that avenue, really.
It's amazing. So with mental health and art, your art in particular, what's the relationship like?
I'm kind of coming up with some new ideas of stuff that's happened, and I've even taken old paintings, because I used to do a lot of paintings of myself when I was at Marwell Zoo, or like holding the kestrel behind you, and then I've revamped them to make them, come into this new decade now. It used to just be a plain background on it, but the shapes and visuals that are all hanging up behind it kind of are my sort of techniques that I've been using from stencils and stuff. So yeah, I don't know, I'm trying to mix up the old Mark and the new Mark, do you see what I mean, at the moment, which is kind of exciting.
Okay. How important is art for mental health in general then?
Oh, it's massive, I think. It's underappreciated with schools, and like, you hear a lot of kids being pushed away from doing art that come to open evenings, well, college or work at. And if you look at the value of just doing art and just the aspects that it brings to mental health wise, like a lot of students come into my studio just because they're doing their academic subjects and they want to come away and enjoy just doing something creative and getting away from all of that, like maths, science, jargon. But yeah, I don't know, I'm hoping it turns around a little bit, but there's a definite sort of, what you're going to do with art attitude at the moment from a lot of parents, and it's a shame. But I think some kids need it, even if it's just an outlet, just to do a doodle or drawing or a painting or express themselves. It's massive. I've seen people come out of their shells through like my spray painting workshops, like kids with neurodivergent issues and stuff, and by the time they leave, they're just like sometimes a different person. Come out of the shell, or they come back another session and really excited to do it, and we just let them have the freedom to do something with a spray can, and they love it. But yeah, it's massively important. I hope that there's more. Obviously, there's some funding for it here and there, which is good. It's becoming more obvious that people see the value in it, which is really good.
That is positive. So we touched there briefly on men not being able to talk.
Yeah.
Men not talking in general.
Mm-hmm.
And art as an outlet allows you to express yourself, which in a way is kind of talking, I guess. But
yeah,
on the men not talking, why do you think men find it hard to talk? Why is there a stigma around it?
Probably because there's too many other things to talk about. Football. Yeah, and it's not the first thing that I guess comes to mind. Like when you say, "Oh, how you doing?" Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, and then they go, "What should we do? Have a beer, go watch football, whatever it is." So I just don't think it goes. People don't ever ask, "No, tell me, mate, how are you feel? I can see you're not right." Like you tell you're not happy, or it's just asking that question again and maybe listening a bit more or seeing what the signs are. Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely, I don't know if it's like an upbringing thing or it's just a lad sort of culture from what I've been brought up with. But my mates that I used to play football with never really, there's a couple of them that were really, really good at that, like checking in with each other, anytime you want to talk, there's a number, but most people, it's just, you're all right. I haven't noticed anything wrong with you. You're pretty normal and cool. Like, but deep down, it might not be.
No, I get that lad culture, and it's that. It is a big element. I mean, cool, because a lot of lads out there, I guess, would think talking about your feelings is soft. Talking about your feelings is weak or whatever. I don't know, but how do you change lad culture? How do you tackle lad culture? You can't change it, but how do you tackle it?
I don't know. I don't know. There's some good campaigns out there to kind of get people talking a little bit more, but I don't know how you can tackle it. I guess just by more men being a bit more open, I think, and trying not to be. I guess that men don't like to be seen as being soft. I still think there's that big culture of that carrying on through, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. Okay then. So coming away from mental health for a second, the art scene. How has it been in Portsmouth in your time?
It's massively growing. Like I've met so many different creators since there was a market in Portsmouth in the Debenhams, like the Portsmouth Creates market was, and I could feel it. Like there was just a real vibe of really cool people coming out, seeing, making so many different things. I think it's just really big at the moment, and it's like one of the biggest, or per square mile, there's like street art sort of totally kicking off. There's lots of awesome artists coming to the city, and that's something I found inspiring when I was a kid. I walked around like the university buildings and there was some big billboard, like an exhibition going on. You had to go, and sort of one of my homework things, I had to go and spot the 6 or 7 paintings that were up, and I just really remember it, and just really cool now for kids growing up in Portsmouth, being inspired by the walls, and hopefully they're going to have that outlet as well. And
have you seen a change over time? Or
definitely, yeah. Well, I guess the music scene in Portsmouth's pretty cool and vibrant, and the artists as well. It's all it's definitely on the up. Like, I don't want to say it's like the next Bristol or Brighton, but it's definitely, there's something changing, and more people, it's definitely coming alive a lot more since COVID, I think. Yeah. It's going to be a good thing.
No, I get that, because I've been seeing a lot more commission pieces around the city.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the question is, when you think of Portsmouth, I mean, you've lived here, but when you think of Portsmouth, what do you think of first, apart from the football and the beach?
Yeah. That's a tricky one, really. I think the people of, like, how friendly people are that I meet, and through exhibitions or going to gigs, just how, I don't know, welcoming people can be, from lots of different cultures as well. It's not just, like going to the football and stuff like that. It's probably definitely the core thing for me when I think of Portsmouth. And but yeah, the people, I think there's a definite, like, core vibe of people being proud from being Portsmouth, and it's just that whole vibe. I just love it, and especially when it comes to football. Sorry to go back to football. Yeah, I don't know. The music scene's definitely something I love going down to. Love just going to once a month and working with some of the bands that doing stuff with as well. That's just, yeah, it's a really cool thing to do. Just enjoying that.
Interesting. Okay, on the football then, I'm really interested. So, why do you have? I mean, yeah, why do you have a love for football? Do you think over other sports, over other things?
I think if you're a Portsmouth fan, you know what if you go to a game, you know how the whole club is just rocking, and the fans are just like, even if you're losing a game, the fans don't change the way that they approach the game. They're just always singing. If you go to an away game, it's just, and the vibe from that of like never say die attitude of the vibe of, like, even if you're losing, it's freezing cold. I just love that. I think the core of, and it just sums up the people from Portsmouth for me. Not to be too negative about the team up the road, but it's like Alan Ball said about, like, Portsmouth. What was it? Portsmouth. They export people that go to war, and that up the road they export vegetables or something like that. It's just like the culture of people that I've met that are connected to the club, and just they die for their club. A lot of fans, it's crazy. It really is. But I just love going down there, and like the vibe before the games, having a drink, checking in with your mates. Yeah, the actual games and the highs and the lows of games is just, yeah, can't beat it, really.
Interesting. And do we see it, like, through your art, like your passion and interest in football? Do you show it in your art?
I guess through the club, I've done a lot of painted in our club, a lot of the players, and been commissioned a lot actually to do a lot of stuff for the club. So yeah, it's not recently, I haven't done much, but my style sort of changed a lot, but I'm hoping to get down there and do something else pretty soon. Yeah.
Oh, decent. And on your style then, so currently you're doing spray paint type vibes. Why spray paint?
I guess it's like a quick medium for me, and I've always liked cutting stencils. I used to do a lot of stencil portraits, but it's just, you can create something really quickly, and lots of different styles. So people might think it's just sort of spraying a can, but I've seen so many people really skilled with it, more skilled than me, but the way that you can control it, not control it, spray in different ways, spray different lines, thicknesses, gradients through stencils, yeah, it's just really, really interests me. And I just love that you can do it on the street, you can do it on canvases. Yeah, I'm just really hooked on it. I'm hooked on the neon as well, you can tell.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, neon. Where's the fascination for neon coming from?
Probably cycling. probably. But just the way that it pops really through using it and creating other colours around it. But I'm a massive keen cyclist, which I think again has helped with mental health. I didn't really cycle until, I don't know, about 10 years ago, like properly. Used to enjoy doing it on and off, but it's become more of a real thing where I do long journeys. I was at Brighton, St Brothers at Wales for a couple of days. Not mad enough to do it one day, but yeah, it's just, and a lot of the clothing, obviously, if you don't want to be run over, you're wearing a lot of neon or lights and things. So I think it's kind of come from that a little bit. And there's a lot of like high-end fashion, Rafa and different brands that I really like some of the designs of. Kind of comes from that a little bit too.
Look, because it gives kind of like, from my perspective, it gives like kind of a futuristic, low-key sci-fi vibes as well.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I get that. I used a lot of inspiration from a recent exhibition based off like old rave posters, and I actually tried to copy one when I was at school, and then I recreated it for the exhibition. So, and I love all that sort of stuff, and I've never been to raves or that's why I want to try it. I guess that's why I'm trying to do all the stuff like this, to try and like, because people have come into the exhibitions, it's like being in a rave, it's half flashing lights. But yeah, it's definitely going that way, and there's a few festivals and stuff I want to try and apply for, actually, try and get work into. Yeah.
Because it is quite, in some respects, quite abstract, quite psychedelic. Is that sort of vibe?
Yeah. Being accused of taking lots of mushrooms, hating stuff, and saying, no, pretty straight guy. Just have a few beers and paint and stuff, but no, I never tried any psychedelics.
Okay, so cool. All right, and taking us back a bit then. So with your mental health, how was the journey?
Quite a struggle at one point. I remember I was at college and I couldn't even like work out the rooms. The rooms were just too. There's like obviously hundreds of rooms in the college, and I was a teaching assistant. I said to the manager, I just can't fathom going from this room. Where is this room? And figuring that out. My head just wasn't straight. I just couldn't do it. So that's been a real struggle. There's been some real low moments of to give up. But it's really, really mad to think back at all the different things that I was thinking, going through, thinking were real, or what wasn't happening.
Yeah. And so how then? I'm really interested in that. So how did? Because you seem really like straight up fine, straight up keys in hell. How did you come out of that?
Guess it was just time and medication, I guess, and supportive network of people like my wife now, and if I think what life was like and my upbringing, there's lots of reasons why things happen. Just give an example, like because I used to not think what was real, what wasn't real. When I was like 14, I was told I had 3 other brothers and sisters that never knew I had, and that was kind of a bit of a shock to me. And I'd grown up thinking I was the oldest kid, and really like not upset me, but I was what else isn't real, So it was kind of, I think, my upbringing is what triggered a lot of stuff. I obviously realise now. Learn to cope with it, I guess, and learn what's going to trigger it, and then learn to kind of, be too stressed. Try and make sure I get enough sleep, and look after myself a bit, I guess.
So what are your, you said, your current wife, these are your vices that sort of prevent that stuff from happening. But I'm just thinking of someone who might be in a place now, who might be there. What would you say to them?
Just try and keep your chin up, try and it's little steps, I guess. So if someone is feeling low or not thinking straight, that there is help out there, that try and reach out, speak to people, and obviously get maybe on the right medication to kind of help relax things or make you sleep, or but there's always something to live for. I don't know, a lot of students that are quite down, I'm always just sort of trying, I get it a lot lately. It's a real issue where I teach, but there's always something to live for. Things will get better, I guess. That's what I'll approach it. But yeah, it's hard. I think the pandemic's had a lot to answer for kids' mental health.
Wow. You say it's an issue now. How much of an issue will it get like?
I guess they're overwhelmed, like the college I work at, just there's not enough funding, I guess. Well, to say that, but there's just not enough people to support the kids that need it, So, and the process of getting through all the stumbling blocks of getting to see a GP at the moment, getting support that way. I mean, there's lots and lots of men's mental health groups coming out of Portsmouth at the moment, and I never really knew who, but I didn't really know about Andy's Man Club and all sorts of other ones. And I've been working with Soul of Mind. There's lots of little pockets of places to go, places to speak to, but it's just whether people have confidence to actually get out to them. But yeah, since it's got a lot worse over the last 3 or 4 years, I think. Kids just be really anxious, stressed. It's a shame.
Is that just college age or school age, or is that the younger ones as well? Because I don't know if you work with younger ones as well, see it in younger ones, but
yeah, I think sometimes, I was talking to a student the other day of like, sometimes things don't get picked up at lower level schools, and then that kid will struggle, but be really intelligent, but really struggle, and maybe there should have been some support put in place sooner, and then they might just slip through the net and then get to college level and come to us, and then, well, you really need an assessment, additional support team. Do you see a counsellor? No, come see the health and wellbeing team. The amount of times I take kids to the health and wellbeing, introduce them once a week normally in the beginning of the year. But they're grateful for that. But then sometimes the waiting list is like so long, they don't see someone consistently enough. But that's what we look at to do with funding, I guess. It's sort of a shame. Now, it used to be, I guess, more funded, but I don't know what's. It seems to have all so many cutbacks. Yeah, colleges, things like that. It's a shame. Not just with that area, it's across the board, really. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, they're cutting back on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Gosh. Okay, then. So that's the issue. Let's come away from that then. Your art, or being an artist. For people who are thinking about it, should I do it? Their parents might be the person behind them saying, don't do it. What would you tell them?
If you feel like you want to go for it, then go for it. Definitely. I never knew where this would lead me to, like just being creative. I just love doing it. I've never thought about, making loads of money from it. I've never been that bothered about it. I'm just creating work for me. It's nice to know that I can show work. But if someone else is doing it and they've got a passion for it and they want to create something, then do it. But, it's just to know that if you want to make a living out of it, it's probably going to be a lot of hard work. But most people that have it in them and the passion, drive for it, then go for it.
Interesting. So like,
but have a backup. Have a backup of something else as well, just in case it doesn't work out. Because there's so many people out there wanting the same thing as you. So you've got to shine. You've got to have something about it.
no, interesting. So as an artist yourself, what is your process of getting into that creative flow?
Normally, if I'm sort of not done anything all week, I guess I'll save things on my phone or visuals or see things that I like, or I might just have like a bit of a vision of a painting that I want to revamp and create. Like I saw a painting in Amsterdam and then just recreate it in my own style. So yeah, and I mean, I guess coming into the studio, having put music on, that's a massive influence for me. I kind of would like my visuals to look, or not look, but sound like, if they look at them, it reminds them of a piece of music, or it could influence a person just as much as a piece of music, I guess. It's one of my goals.
Yes.
So they connect and work well together, I guess. Yeah.
So with music then, do you, like, for example, one of these pieces, maybe not one of these pieces, but pieces in general, do you have like a particular song on repeat?
Sometimes there might, because sometimes I might have a more chilled piece of music to a more mellow piece of work. But I guess through the night it just sort of changes really of what I'm listening to. I never really stick to one thing. It's a bit like when I paint, like 1 minute it would be sort of psychedelic-y, shoegazy music, and the next thing a bit of hip hop. But yeah, it changes and evolves, I guess, all the time. I'm looking for something new to listen to. Yeah, as well. Kind of, it might inspire a new piece of work.
Interesting. So like live music and music scene you touched on earlier is big for you because of that, or it just is your life?
Yeah, no, it's been like another thing, a bit like cycling really. I've only started going to more live music gigs, and and just the vibe you get from seeing different live music is some of the bands and local bands that I've been working with, just love the energy of what that can bring, and having a few beers and going out and enjoying it with mates. Just, you can't beat it really. And being around other like-minded people and creatives as well, and working with bands as well, has been a cool experience. Love it. I'm getting called the Andy Warhol of like Velvet Underground for band work. Splinsky, but it's a bit of a running joke. But sometimes like I might bring my figures or do the backdrop, or I've done video projections in the wedgie rooms for and that works quite well. Yes.
Very deep. So, okay then, so that's where you're at now. So what are we expecting? What to expect next?
I guess more of the same, but I'd like to do more like bigger work, I guess. Got a few plans for next year, or hopeful commissions that I've applied for. So it might change totally a lot. And some of the work might go more digital, I guess. But I want to keep on going down the route of showing my work, but also talking about like my experience with mental health, and it's definitely going to go down that route. It's something I think that I want to pass on or help. Definitely.
No, I get that. And how was it? Commissioning or commissions? I do it for like 10. I'm comparing it to like tenders or like a job. How frequently do you apply for them, and are you picky about the ones you apply for?
I only apply for a couple of years, and I've been working with the We Shine Festival guys like a couple of years in a row. But I guess you see things that might link. I don't want to go too much down the route of doing work I don't want to do, or not going to enjoy painting. So it's hard. Really, I'd like to do more big walls, but I need to get a cherry picker license, and and you could travel around to Ireland and around the world and apply for different like European commissions or whatever. But I'm kind of not held back, but I've got family at the moment. I need to got a job. But that's the goal really, to kind of eventually just travel around the world and paint, show my work a bit more wider, just Portsmouth. So that's the goal.
Goals, no, I like it, man. I like it. Well, no, well, I guess that brings us to the end of this section, and yeah, man, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
it's been a pleasure.
You too, mate. Yeah,
No, man, I'm excited to see what happens next. Really, yeah.
Cheers.
No, legend, man. Well, yeah, we'll catch up
Thank
soon.
you. Cheers, Alec.
Awesome, Rob. All right, so yeah, welcome to part 2, and this part includes us basically going out into the street and asking a question. And yeah, feel free to stop it at any time if you've got any comments, or we can watch straight through. But whatever you feel, let us know.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Is graffiti art or vandalism?
So, probably perspective, to be honest.
It can be both.
Because who's ever doing it seems like an artist to themselves, but if you're like a police officer, that's graffiti.
Trust. Fair enough. And yourself?
Yeah, I've got to agree with that. It is an artistic way of expressing yourself, but if it's done illegally, it's still also a vandalism thing, isn't it? So,
What determines whether graffiti is art or vandalism?
Does it have any message behind it? I mean, you look at some graffiti and it's, I don't know, a drawing of a giant a snake or a lizard or something random like that. It has no meaning behind it, does it? So I suppose that's just vandalism. Whereas then I'd say
I don't even see that as vandalism. I don't know what really constitutes it as vandalism in the end. I don't know if there's many times I've seen graffiti and decided it was vandalism.
Interesting.
Depends on where it is and what the message behind it
that's
is.
what, yeah.
Yeah, like if it's someone's house, then that's not like, that's their private property. But then like, obviously like public buildings are private as well, but like, I feel like it's not as personal, so it's like, maybe, it's still bad, but it's not like, really, really bad.
Yeah, if someone graffitied my house, actually that's a crime then. That's vandalism. Somebody graffitis my house, but if it's a public building, like there's graffiti on that saying, oh, there's graffiti right there.
There's literally graffiti there.
I'm not going to look at that and think, oh.
It's not like a major.
I mean, like if you go London, you see it on like the trains and stuff, and that's kind of like random stuff. But then you go, I don't know if you guys have seen like the place near like Waterloo. I think it's like Leek Street Tunnel or something, where it has all the really, really nice graffiti.
Yeah.
I think that's different. That's like art.
I think as well down there, they're just over on the commercial road, they've been graffitiing some of the derelict buildings.
I think it's Debenhams that shut down, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a guy going and doing, it is art.
No, I asked my students this, like, what is graffiti? You know, is it illegal or whatever? And I think it's called street art now, rather than graffiti, like old school terms of people saying, oh, someone's graffitied that wall. That means they've done it without permission to me, or they've tagged it because they want to get their name known. Like someone painted over a My Dog Size wall in Hilsey, and you know, My Dog Size probably got commissioned to do that, but then a tagger tagged his big name over it, and but I think there's a real difference of getting permission, and then when you call it graffiti, I don't know, I find it a bit offensive if someone said, "You're a graffiti artist." I don't know. It's more to me is being, graffiti is just definitely a tagging nonsense, getting like the toilets of Pitt have got like tags everywhere, and to me that's graffiti. But I guess seeing itself as more of like a street artist, mural artist, rather than maybe people saying about graffiti.
Interesting. Because I didn't know that distinction either. Is that a personal thing, or is that like a modern thing?
I don't know. I guess probably people take it different ways, I guess. But doing some graphing, or I guess so. I guess when you ask members of the public about what is graffiti illegal, or do you like it or not like it, I don't know. They kind of like say he wouldn't want it on his house, but then people that paint, does it bring more to the area that people are in? You know, it's definitely brightened up Somerstown where I've done stuff recently. Rather than having plain walls, and everyone that's walked past, like 99% of people said that how much they like it and how it makes an area look better, brings value to the area as well.
No, I agree. I really do.
But sorry,
That's great.
It is art, to be fair. It's good quality stuff.
I think it probably depends what they're like doing as well, like what it's of. Because if it's actually like artwork, then fair enough. But when people are just like, some people obviously write stuff they shouldn't and stuff, that's probably more like vandalism than an actual piece of art.
Because it's just intention behind it.
Yeah, the intent.
What determines whether graffiti is art or vandalism?
What makes it no different?
What determines it? So, like, when do you think it's classed as vandalism or art?
Depends what it says. If it's something like, I don't know, something necessarily bad, then I guess it's not good. Like, it's not really art. But then, if it's something that's saying like a positive message, then yeah, I do guess it's art.
Okay, I mean, if someone just sort of like, okay, let's say for example here, someone does it on the wall and it looks really good, is that still graffiti? Or is it vandalism?
It depends where it is as well, but then if it's on like, if it's like damaging property, I guess, then yeah, I guess it is graffiti. I don't know.
Interesting.
It's not now, I feel like I'm just going back on my answer.
What determines when graffiti is art or vandalism?
Wow. Like stuff like that, look at that.
What is that?
On the left.
the camera. No, it's okay. Basically, it's, yeah, so like just writing on the wall. Is that graffiti to you, or is that vandalism, or is that art?
I suppose like art's like whatever someone thinks it is, really.
If it is respectful,
Yeah.
then it could be, for me, art.
Okay.
So as long as it's not disrespectful
Yeah.
to people, and that is some sort of art for me.
Interesting. Okay, so what if it's, for example here, what if you see a really nice piece on that wall over there? Is that graffiti, is that vandalism, or is that art in your opinion?
Well, I guess, but it can be vandalism and art though, I think. Can't it?
Oh, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like it technically classifies as vandalism, but it can also be seen as art, can't it? Because it's creative.
It depends who's viewing it, really. We'd call it vandalism. That person might have got permission to paint on that wall, so that it's not vandalism. I've never done anything without any permission. I would never go and paint a wall without anyone who owned property, or if it was an organised event. As much as I've wanted to, kind of job would be on the line, I guess, if you get caught. But it's a real grey area for me. Like, a lot of people go and do paste ups across things, and there's like, you can paste up like you print something off, and then you just do like a bit of PVA on the wall, and then paste up like lots of different images or the same image. But you can go and do that on a green electric box, like that in Brighton, for example. This guy, Cassette Boy or something, I think his name is, he does like big cassettes over the big green boxes that you see. And those are all free for all, apparently. Like, you can just do what you want on them because no one really owns that, or something like that. So it's, yeah. But yeah, the tagging and stuff, mindless tagging your name on trains, walls, yeah. Somewhere where it's going to cost, like I've asked the council if I can paint a wall, like under the motorway when COVID was happening. And because I was going to do like an NHS nurse or something portrait. And they were like, no, we're not going to do anything on that. And then now it's full of rubbish graffiti or like someone's big name or tags. And it just, yeah, it does great. But I don't know. Yeah, it's a real grey area for me. Like, is it getting permission? To me, yeah, I think you need permission. But I guess if I didn't have any ties, or I just wanted to go rogue and put my hood up and go around the streets and tag and do stuff on the streets with messages, who am I to say that it's good, bad? It's like, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
What determines when graffiti is art or vandalism?
The colours and
it's more like a picture than words.
What do you mean?
Like if it's words, then it's graffiti.
Yeah.
If it's a picture, then I think it's art.
Interesting. What about yourself?
I would agree. Say you walk, like you're driving on the motorway and you go across a bridge and it's just loads of random words. That's graffiti, not art.
Okay, all right. Well, fair enough. Do you want to get on?
No.
That's all right. Well, now, thanks for your time. You determine whether graffiti is art or vandalism.
Oh, good question. Depends if it's in a done in a managed way, I suppose. So, if it's if somebody's been invited to to do some art on a wall, cracking. If it's sort of tagging something or kind of, I don't know, just making drawings or lines on something just because, then it's a slightly different thing, I think.
Interesting. So if someone did like a piece of art on this wall and it wasn't asked to do or it wasn't commissioned, would you say that's art or vandalism?
I suppose, thinking about it actually, with the work that Banksy does, nobody invites him to stick that on the side of a wall, do they? So it's a really interesting question. I suppose it depends, if it is actually art or if it's just a line, if it's just a tag, I'm not in for that. But actually, if it means something, if there's a deeper meaning to it, then I think that's actually, arguably, that's art.
Right. So that was the question. Yeah. So yeah, any thoughts on what he had to say?
No, he had some good points. I think, and I probably agree with him. I guess if you don't like Banksy, who's done a lot for street art, I think a lot of as good has come from him, and it inspired lots of people to do stuff more on the street, and like have something funny or political, some really interesting messages that are done, but it just goes a bit mad when, people were like, well, who owns that house? Who owns that area? Like some of this stuff's like sprayed off by graffiti removal people. And yeah, I don't know. But the girl was quite right about if someone just wants to tag their name everywhere, that's not really street art to me, but there are taggers out there that are amazing artists and can do that in a creative way, but it's just another sort of bracket of street art, another like movement in style. It's definitely it's all that's where it all originated from, really, to me. But it's just evolved into people do stencils, paste ups, different styles, but I don't know. It's up to individuals to say whether it's art or not, isn't it? But mindless tagging is when you're walking around or cycling around or motorways, people that risk going on railway lines and stuff, tagging, stealing, probably staff seen documentaries, people say, oh yeah, I've got this spray can from B&Q as 100% discount, and they've stolen the paint, and go and spray paint their name everywhere. It's just crazy. But yeah, I know, but there are some really, really cool, like European huge street art on the sides of blocks of houses, blocks of flats and stuff. But yeah,
Well, no,
that's mad, cool thing to go and art.
It's fair game. Yeah, because there's one near where I live, and it's just on the wall, and it's this really nice art. It's a good piece of art, and if it wasn't there, it would just be this blank, boring wall.
Yeah.
So it does, I guess, increase the sort of the stature of the area, I guess. Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah, it's proven, I think, that house prices have gone up, or it brings more to the cities. Yeah. And tourism and things like that. It's only, I think it's a massive positive, really. I've been on a street art tour in Bristol. Like, starts off with a few Banksies, it takes you around to people that tag, people that do art, all sorts of cool stuff. But it's probably going to happen more in Portsmouth, being upcoming capital street art. I don't know. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, no, cool. So yeah, any last any closing thoughts?
Think of anything? No. What, based on that?
Yeah.
Or yeah, I mean, I was quite pleased that some of them would say, it depends on what it is, because it's real. Whenever I'm asked to do a wall, like, I didn't really know what I wanted to do here, but then I guess I linked it to the exhibition I had planned and lots of different messages, but people are going to read into it, what they want. But am I a fan of some of the street art that was done at the same sort of festival? Some of it's, I don't know.
And yeah, cool. So I guess that brings us to a close then. That brings us to a nice general close.
Yeah.
Any last words? Anything you'd like to say?
Just thanks, mate, for talking to me. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, man, it's been a pleasure. No, thank you. And Gemma, I'm looking forward to see what happens next.
Yeah, cool.
There you go.